Alhamdulillahi wa kafa, wassalatu wassalamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa, khususan ala afdalihim wa khatamin nabiyyin, Muhammadin al-Amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. Respected organizers and brothers and sisters, Wassalamu'alaikum Warohmatullahi, Wabarokaatuh. Our subject tonight is entitled The Muslim Youth in a Glamorous World. There was a previous lecture on this subject at Cyberjaya about 2 years ago. So we will designate this one part 2. It is a vast subject, so we can take different parts of the subject at different times. This is indeed a glamorous world. No teenager will dispute that. But the glamour is in the cities. The glamour is in the urban centers. No teenager who comes to the city wants to go back to kampung. Kampung, that's dead. There's no life there for me. The city where you have the shopping malls, no, this is life. This is the glamour of the modern world, which is concentrated in the urban centers. And something mysterious is happening in the modern world, which you may not be conscious of because you are so young. And my talk tonight is directed primarily to those young men and young women who are not as yet married, and I can see one or two in front of me who are not as yet married, or those who have just been married. I'm talking to you tonight. Something mysterious is happening in the world these last 100 years. And that is that, you know, the vacuum that you use to clean the house, it pulls all the dust. You've seen a vacuum, haven't you? Well, there seems to be a big vacuum at work in the world, sucking people from the villages, from remote countryside locations, and sucking them and bringing them into the cities, using every single trick in the book. And we're going to talk about some of those tricks tonight. Cleverly designed strategies. And as a consequence, today for the first time in human history, we have mega cities, 10 million people, 20 million people, mega cities for the first time in human history. And it is a perfectly legitimate question that you should pose to your scholar of Islam, your Sheikh, your Ustad, your Mufti, your Maulana. Ask him, what is it that explains this? You've been lecturing to me so much about wudu and salat and the fiqh. And thank you for those lectures. You've been lecturing so much about akhlaq and good manners, and thank you for those lectures. They are important to me. But I'm asking you, O scholar of Islam, I'm asking you, what is it that explains this mysterious vacuum at work, sucking people out of the countryside, out of Kampung, and concentrating them in the cities to such an extent, for the first time in human history, we now have mega cities. What is it that explains it? We have an explanation, and we've been giving that explanation now for 15, 20 years, but it's a lonely life, I tell you. When you teach the subject of Akhirul Zaman, it's a lonely life, because nobody else wants to come to teach this subject. Nobody. I wonder why. We say that this is Dajjal at work. So welcome to the glamorous world. The Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, that Dajjal will come with two things. When last have you heard anybody saying this to you? When last have you heard a khutbah from the mimbar on Dajjal? When last? Why is Islamic scholarship so mysteriously silent on the subject? We question your integrity. Yes, we do. He said that Dajjal will come with two things, a river and a fire. But his river would be a fire, and his fire would be the cool waters of a river. And those who fall in his river, his glamorous river, will have their load of sins increased. And those who fall in his fire would have their load of sins decreased. He takes the road to Jahannam, therefore, and makes it look like the road to Jannah. And he takes the road to Jannah and he makes it look like the road to Jahannam. The mega cities are not emerging in a vacuum. No. The mega cities are evolving into centers of glamour. They are glamorous. Imagine a teenager from Kampung, and he comes to the city and he sees these tall buildings. MashaAllah, his eyes are going to open. Her face is going to be in a state of wonder. Look at these tall buildings. I never saw them in the countryside. And then, unless one has knowledge, the youth can make the mistake, which most of the elders make as well, of equating tall buildings with progress. The stamp of progress is the height of your building. The stamp of progress is not how honest you are, how trustworthy you are. If you give your word, did you keep your word? The stamp of progress is not what kind of faith you have in your heart. Are you a young man with a backbone made of steel? Or are you one of those with a backbone made of recycled paper? This is not the standard of progress. No, it's the height of the building. And so the Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and if you know the hadith, don't you? When the angel Jibreel alayhi salam came as a human being and asked how many questions? Satu, dua, tiga, empat, lima. You know I can count in Malay now. 5 questions. Remember? If you don't, you've got some homework to do. And question 5 was, what are the signs of the last day? And amongst the signs that the Prophet ﷺ made mention of was slavery. That there's going to be slavery in Akhirul Zaman. That a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. So there's going to be slavery in Akhirul Zaman. But the other sign was that you'd find the naked, barefooted shepherds competing with each other in the construction of tall buildings. So when you see the tall buildings, you know this is a sign of Akhirul Zaman. Dajjal is seeking to seduce you with the glamour of the city and its tall buildings, so that the heart of the teenager, the heart of the young man or the young woman would now be convinced that tall buildings are a sign of progress. But the Dajjal is sucking you into the city by other strategies as well. When last have you seen a shopping mall in a kampung? Huh? No. The shopping malls are all in the cities. And the shopping malls are becoming more and more glamorous. You take a trip to a shopping mall, my gosh, this is Jannah. Look at the glamour. Look at the architecture. Look at the water flowing. Look at the palm. Look at the roof. Look at the escalators. Look at all the shops. MashaAllah. I never saw anything like this back there in Kampung. So when a teenager experiences the shopping mall, which we never had 100 years ago, nor did we have the high-rise buildings at that time. It's only since what? That all of this is happening. Since the countdown began, the last countdown of Akhirul Zaman. It began when? The world of Islamic scholarship is mysteriously silent. Oh yes, they are mysteriously silent. The last countdown of Akhirul Zaman began when the body of Fir'aun was discovered in the year 1898. At that same time that the body of Fir'aun was discovered, the Zionist movement was established. And Dajjal is now on his last lap in order to fulfill his mission of impersonating the true Messiah and ruling the world from Jerusalem and declaring, I am the true Messiah. So then you saw the skyscrapers of Manhattan, and then you saw the shopping malls. When we were children, we never saw a shopping mall. Never. It came afterwards. It's a glamorous world. There is something called television. You must have seen a television, have you? And in your sitting room, and so many people are there in the sitting room with you, you can see them on the television screen. Modern technology. And there is a telephone, and there is the modern air travel. And where is the airport? You have to leave Kampung and come to the city to get to the airport to travel. No ships anywhere taking you anymore. Shipping is closed down. It's all air travel. And so Dajjal has a number of strategies with which to suck you out of the countryside and bring you into the city. And we want to begin our talk with one of his strategies. The modern age of Dajjal is an age of an explosion of education, of the pursuit of knowledge. Yes, of course, the pursuit of knowledge is obligatory. طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم ومسلمة. It is obligatory on every male and every female Muslim to pursue knowledge. But do you pursue knowledge and abandon your wife and your children? Is that what Allah asks you to do? The pursuit of knowledge? So you abandon your wife and you abandon your children because Allah has ordered you to pursue knowledge and Allah's Messenger has ordered you to pursue knowledge? No. You have to fulfill your basic duties. And only after you fulfill your basic duties, then you can pursue knowledge. So the pursuit of knowledge is qualified. That you must ensure that your basic functions, your basic duties are fulfilled. But along comes Dajjal in the modern age, and every young man and every young woman wants to go to university and get higher education. And universities are not in Kampung. So you're going to have to leave the remote countryside, wherever you are, and head for the city in order to get a university degree. The modern age is also one in which when you get a university degree, you get a job. And when you get a job, you get an income. And Dajjal says that this is the age of liberation for women. And so women have the right to pursue knowledge and get higher education to such an extent that I went to a Malaysian university in Terengganu, UITM, Terengganu, Dungun, to give a talk on dinar and dirham, monetary economics. And the classroom had maybe 5 or 6 young men, and all the rest were women. it was almost 90% young girls in the classroom and less than 10% young men. This is what I experienced myself. And so Dajjal says that women also have the right to pursue knowledge and go to university and get a job, get a degree and then you get a job. If you don't have a university degree, if you don't have a degree from a technical institution, you're not qualified for a job. You're going to have to work in low-paying jobs and live on a subsistence salary. You'll never be able to buy a motor car, even the small Kereta. Kancil. No, you and your wife and your 3 or 4 babies will have to be on the motorcycle. That's the price you will pay if you're not properly qualified. Good. But then something mysterious takes place. At the beginning, university education was very cheap. And then the fees started to rise and rise and rise. Is this happening by accident? No! A trap has been set for you. But because you are deaf and dumb and blind, you cannot see it. And when people point it out to you, you are still deaf and dumb and blind. No, I don't want to listen to it. I have to get the education. How can you afford to pay? I don't want to go to a Malaysian university. If I have a US degree, mashallah, I'm in the job market for the top level. If I have a degree from a European university or British university or an Australian university, who wants a Malaysian degree? That's where the best education is. Allahumma jalla jalaluhu. And if I have a degree from a Western university, I can now enter into the job market and get the best jobs. So guess what they're doing? They're raising the university fees. Even in Malaysia it's going to be taking place. I don't know whether it's taking place as yet. So then how are you going to finance your university education? Dajjal comes along with something that is glamorous. It's called a student's loan. And it is repayable with an only small rate of interest. And you're going to get fatwa upon fatwa upon fatwa that is halal. Yes. And so Dajjal sucks you in. Because what else can I do, Sheikh? I have to go to university. Don't you understand? I have to get an education, I have to get a degree, Sheikh. Don't you understand? Everybody else is doing it. If I do not have a degree, I cannot get a job. Don't you understand? Oh yes, I do. It's you who do not understand Dajjal's glamorous trap for you. You do not care that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam cursed. He cursed all 4. And he said that they are all equally guilty. But you never hear that from the mimbar. They have many other glamorous subjects to talk about, but they don't talk about this one. He said the one who takes riba, the one who gives riba, the one who records the transaction, and the two witnesses, and they're all equally guilty. They would not talk on this subject because they would lose their popularity. There are people who measure success on popularity, and if you want to be popular, don't touch the subject of riba. Government of Pakistan, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan has now come forward with a glamorous offer to the young men and women of Pakistan of student loans with only a moderate rate of interest. Nabi Muhammad ﷺ said whether the rate of interest is small or whether it is great, the result is the same. Poverty, destitution, slavery. If you do not know the subject, then why don't you remain silent and seek knowledge from those who can teach you if you do not know the subject of riba? Shazli has a promise to fulfill. Where is Shazli? Outside. Yeah, to organize a seminar for me on riba where I can teach the subject for the whole day. So now, I'm not speaking to you here alone in this gathering. I'm speaking to all those who send their sons and daughters to Britain and to the United States and to France and to Germany and to Australia, and who cannot afford to pay university fees now because the British government is constantly raising the student fees, and who are now sucked into student loans based on riba. And when you have a student loan based on riba, you have the curse of Muhammad ﷺ upon you. And if you have the curse of a prophet upon you, you can perform your salat, it will not be accepted. You can fast in Ramadan, it will not be accepted. You can give charity, it will not be accepted. No matter what you do, it will not be accepted by Allah if you have the curse of a prophet upon you. This is part of the warning that we have to give to our young people, warning them of the dangers of the glamorous world. It's not just education and paying for your education with a student loan. It is that after you get married, you want a house. Who doesn't want a house? You want a car. And so the bank comes knocking at your door. The bank is making sajda in front of you, begging you to sign, to take a loan, to buy a house. Who wants to live in Kampung? No, a house in Damansara Heights. Who wants a little Kanchil? No, it has to be a nice Honda. And so you take a bank loan now to buy a house and to buy a car. People are even taking bank loans now to perform Hajj. Do you know that?